What if today, the smallest act of kindness could leave an echo that changes hearts forever? In Willowbrook, under a sky as blue as hope's promise, a man named Elias set out. He lived simply, a small house, a flourishing garden, and years marked by honest work. Each morning, he awoke with gratitude as his first companion, taking time to listen to the song of the breeze and hear what it might teach. Elias believed that gratitude is the soil where happiness grows. He began his day with a purpose: to bring homemade apple tart and cookies to Miss Marlowe, an elder across the valley famed for her gentle spirit and stories that reached farther than any road in the village. Packing his gifts, he stepped outside, where the air was thick with the scent of spring and the quiet playfulness of a gentle breeze. On his path, he noticed a cluster of wild violets and knelt beside them, glimpsing a tiny mouse tugging desperately at a crumb dropped from his own lunchbox. Elias broke the crumb, moved it closer, and smiled as the mouse succeeded. Help is real when given with thought, not just impulse, he whispered to himself. Generosity has its strength in mindfulness, not its size. Rising, Elias crossed a wooden bridge where water shimmered like patience itself, slow, steady, and persistent. In that moment, he saw a lesson reflected on the surface. A good life is less about speed, more about moving deliberately toward what matters most. A group of children ran past, barefoot and laughing, chasing a lamb along the lane. Elias offered a wave. Their joy was contagious. Joy grows in the company of those who see the world without fear of failure and without hurry. Adults, he thought, should remember laughter is wisdom in disguise. Deeper into the meadow, Elias found a fallen willow branch sheltering a wounded sparrow. He gently picked it up, feeling its trembling heartbeat, and walked to the stream. Cupping water in his hands, he brought it to the bird's beak. True strength often looks like gentleness, he thought, and healing always begins with care. Elias gathered leaves and made a small nest. Shelter is often more powerful than rescue. Giving time to heal, he realized, is sometimes the greatest gift. Returning to his journey, Elias considered how easily the hurried world overlooks the value of pausing, the wisdom lurking in the simple act of stopping to notice. Pausing, he knew, allows life's lessons to emerge from the quietest places. Reaching Miss Marlowe's porch, Elias was met by her welcoming eyes. They shared tea and the apple tart, letting silence speak for a while. In the company of those who listen, silence becomes both comfort and teacher. Elias recounted his morning, the mouse's struggle, the sparrow's pain, the laughter of children. Miss Marlowe smiled, her face lined with the stories of a life lived kindly. Every act of kindness is a lesson spread on the wind, she said, and wisdom often travels in small steps. They worked together in the garden, tending beans and tying tomato branches to stakes, hands in the gentle earth. They did not chase grand achievements, but focused on the needs of each plant, each task. Care grows roots deeper than ambition ever could. Children's voices floated on the wind, reminding Elias of his own youth. He saw that teaching by example, through presence, patience, and consistency, is more lasting than any lecture. The best lessons are lived, not only spoken. The afternoon wore on with gentle certainty. Elias repaired a fence, swept the porch, and picked wild herbs. He was not driven by obligation, but by the quiet joy of helping. Real fulfillment comes from contribution, not recognition. As the sun descended, Elias recalled his promise to check on the sparrow. He found it where he'd left it, now perched and stronger. The bird met his gaze before fluttering to a branch, as if to say, "Thank you." He realized that the most meaningful gratitude is quietly given, a returned glance, a song at dusk. Elias returned to Miss Marlowe's porch and prepared to leave as evening fell in golden bands across the field. She pressed time into his hand, saying, "May you always remember, the smallest seeds sown with care change the whole garden." On his way home, Elias walked slowly, letting the village's simple peace settle inside him. In the silence, he heard the teachings of the day. A generous mind sees every struggle, not as a burden, but as a chance to make another's load lighter. That is the purpose of true community. At his own doorstep, Elias planted the thyme by moonlight, the earth cool and promising beneath his palms. He thought of each lesson learned: gratitude, mindful help, the power of gentleness, the value of pausing, and the deep roots of community. He resolved to let these guide every day forward. As night deepened, Elias sat by his window, sipping tea and watching the stars rise. He knew that true wisdom is simple, hidden in everyday moments, quiet kindnesses, and the courage to care when no one else is watching. If this story moved you, carry its lessons into your own life. Practice gratitude, pause to help, let gentleness guide your choices, and build a community through small, constant acts of care. The world changes not through grand gestures, but through the spirit in which we do each small thing. Subscribe to Kai's Mindset Mastery for more stories and lessons to light your way each week. Remember, every step taken kindly leaves a path for others to follow, and there are always new lessons waiting, wherever a gentle heart is willing to look.